Hi, this is Lori.
And this is Peter.
And we're with Heroes Character Rental Service doing our latest review of...
Creed.
Creed 2.
Creed 2.
Creed 2. Creed 2, which is the sequel to Creed, and the sequel and spinoff of the Rocky movies.
Right.
So starring Michael B. Jordan again, who's back.
Michael B. Jordan.
And, of course, Sylvester Stallone is Rocky.
Sylvester Stallone.
So.
The original Rocky.
So we saw this last night, and an interesting theater experience.
Yeah.
Which, kind of annoying. We went to a different theater, Baldwin Hills Cinemark, and had quite a lot of talking back to the screen that...
Yeah.
You either love it or hate it, and I'd rather watch the movie. But anyway, that had nothing to do with the movie. What did you think of Creed 2?
What did I think of Creed 2? I enjoyed it.
Yes.
But there were a few things in it that I did not, or that caught my eye.
Okay.
And we'll discuss those things.
Yeah.
But overall, the movie was good. Mm-hmm. But I think as we talked a little bit before, there was another movie here.
There was there was a better story to be told that kind of got the subplot treatment, and it was the more interesting story.
Right.
So what happens with Creed 2 is we have the return of Ivan Drago and his son fighting Apollo Creed's son, and of course Rocky Balboa. And one of the things watching the movie now, I have to be honest, I fell asleep a couple times during this movie. It was interesting. It was another case of me. I was still listening, but I couldn't keep my eyes open. But I kept constantly asking, I'm like, what is the reason? What is the reason to make a sequel to this movie? What can they tell us more about the characters? What can the characters go through again that would keep our audience interest? That we need to learn more about Adonis Creed and his relationship with Rocky Balboa or anything else. And it just took a long time for the movie to get to a compelling story for its main characters. While at the same time, there was another story going on that was more compelling, but was a back burner story. You want to say something about that?
Well, the story of Draco. As you might remember, Draco and Apollo Creed had a fight. And Draco killed Apollo Creed in the ring. Yeah. And some of it had to do with Rocky not throwing in the towel. When maybe he should have. Right. But in this movie, they started telling about what Draco and his now son, who is a boxer, wanted to go through or was going through.
As a result of that end of his, fighting Rocky and losing, and what happened to him. Right. And he went through a downward spiral. Right. Yeah.
And which was really, which was very compelling. His story was very compelling. His story of training his son or being the manager for his son, as he was coming up and becoming a boxer and the things that he was doing. Right. Actually was a very, very compelling story, and there was so much more they could have told about that story.
Yeah, I would have loved to. The parts I perked up in this movie is when Draco and his son, when it switched to them. Just because, the movie starts off, Creed, his son, Adonis Creed, you can say, he's motivated because his father was killed by this fighter. But it was a father he didn't know and he didn't have a relationship with. Right. So it was kind of hard to sell his anger and his need to fight this person, this son of Draco, and to avenge the father's death. I just didn't feel enough of a connection. Now, to the movie's credit, this is a very well-made movie, and they do build a story for Adonis Creed, but the motivation comes so late in the movie that it's just really slow to get to it. While you have this interesting story about Draco and his son that they could have used the time to expand on and follow them, but they don't give enough about exactly what happened to them and their relationship. Well, when they were the most interesting thing going.
Right. Well, one of the things is that it seems that Drago and his side kept on point with their story, where Creed's story, it was trying to run along 4 or 5 different tracks and storylines.
Yeah, there were different things.
It was Creed and his girlfriend.
Right.
Creed and his, I don't want to tell too much about the movie, but things that was happening in his life, but they never, at least to me, they never seemed to say that these things are related, even though you knew they were all related.
Right. I mean, it took a long time for them to all intersect and to make it understandable, his motivation to be so committed to doing this fight.
Right.
And then, by the time what you watch a Rocky movie for, the training sequences come in.
Right.
And then you're like, all right, now I'm pumped up and ready. They got the Gotta Fly music and all that. And so, but, it took a while. Those things were being set up, which is why I thought this was really well made, but it just took so long to get to that, to make it understandable for him. It's like, okay, I understand his motivation now. Why his intense motivation.
Right.
So.
But one thing, and I'm just now thinking about it, is that the Rocky was trying to instill in Creed why he has a motivation against them.
Yeah.
But he was also telling Creed, you don't have a motivation.
Yeah.
But you need to get
don't
one.
Do this.
But it's kind of like,
I mean, it's like the question of who are you fighting for? What are you fighting for?
Right.
I mean, I think the movie was trying to figure that out itself.
Right.
And it took its time, and the character was trying to figure it out. And usually you have the movie like, we already know what he's fighting for, but I don't think they figured it out until later on in the movie. And there's a lot of
on the reverse thing, Drago, they built up to why he was fighting, and you thought it was for this one reason, but it became for this other reason.
Yeah.
And it was almost like you didn't tell me this is why we were fighting.
Yeah, and that's like, I would like them to explore that more.
Yeah.
I was like, what happened there? And even Rocky, like the whole thing about him, whether he should have stopped the original fight with Apollo, and his, being worried about being in the ring with the son and having that responsibility there, and even his whole arc for that. And there's some more that has to do. There's a lot of father and son or child and parent themes in this, which are actually really good.
But for me, they stayed disjointed.
Okay.
Which I didn't like. I wanted to see some sort of connection, and they usually in a movie they'll give you 2, 3, 4, 5, however many questions within the movie, but then by the end of the movie they pay them off and they say,
you have some resolution.
Here's a resolution to this, here's a resolution to that, stuff like that. And this left for me, it left at least 3.
Oh, really? You felt it left some?
Yeah, it felt, and I was like, well, wait a minute, what about this? And one of them was very obvious because they talked about it 3 or 4 times in the movie.
Okay.
And then they never paid it off.
We talked about this earlier.
Yeah. And I was just
we can't talk about that because that kind of gives away some of the surprise that the movie does have.
Yeah.
So that would be spoilery. So I thought the movie had a good resolution with Rocky's story. It had a pretty good resolution with Draco's story, although you would have wanted to see more of the story and more of the resolution. Just got hints of that. It did have a good resolution for Adonis' story, but it just took so long to get to it. That's pretty much just the crust of it, I guess. But I also wanted to point out this movie. The original movie was done by Ryan Coogler, who he and Michael B. Jordan have done several movies together. He did not do Creed 2. And I kind of had a clue that he wasn't involved in this by the way the fight scenes were filmed this time. Mm-hmm. If you remember Creed 1, I don't know if anybody you noticed this or anybody noticed how the fight scenes were filmed. They did this long continuous take while they were doing it. And that was incredible if you think about it, because they'd have to choreograph everything to include the camera movements, the actors' movements, the stunt work to make it look. Those were amazing, and those shots were amazing in the first movie. I mean, there may have been some tricky editing in there too, but you didn't get that with this movie. Not that the fight scenes weren't great, but that made like Creed, the original Creed movie, something to where it was like, wow, this is a great filmmaker doing some amazing work right now.
Well, for me, in the original Creed, which I didn't see in theaters, I didn't see until DVD.
I don't think I saw it in theaters either. I saw it on,
But I thought the dialogue was fantastic. I thought the story arc was very good, and I thought the fight scenes were absolutely great. And even when they did the training montage, which is part of this.
I mean, it's a Rocky movie, basically. Yeah. You got to have the training montage with the music. So,
but it was really done well. Really done well. In this movie, I don't think it was done that well.
In this movie, when the training montage came up, I got pumped up, and that's when I woke up. I got interested in the movie, but at the same time, it was pretty much the same training montage they've done in every movie. It's just change the location where you do it.
Right.
And
for me, it was very, here you go, and then took it away.
Okay. We have to. It's kind of like, all right, we got to throw this out because the audience is expecting it and they love this stuff. So we'll get it in there. We'll get it done. So maybe it was fine how they did it. Just like, all right, here you go, enjoy. Yeah. I will say, like the final fight sequence, the kind of suspense they built for that was really good.
The final fight sequence, was
and probably
really
this movie kind of comes together with the final fight sequence and the resolutions. It just they kind of. They get you all tensed up, and then they let you relax a little bit, and then you go, oh, man, we tensed up again, relax a little bit. They really kind of put you through the ringer in a good way. Right. So,
and I think some of the things that happen within the movie that are trying to tell things that are going on in Creed's life, perhaps maybe they did it in the way that they did it, which I wasn't greatly or too keen on, but maybe they did it that way so that in the last fight scene, you're not sure what's going to happen.
Yeah, they do. It's not the outcome of the fight is not predictable, and a credit to the Rocky series for the hero of the movie doesn't always win,
right?
So you go into that, it could go either way with these type of movies. So credit to Sylvester Stallone. He's back on co-writing the screenplay for this, and reminding him. He wrote the original Rocky. He's capable of writing good movies. In fact, some of the Rocky sequels have been critically acclaimed that he's been in charge of. So this is a good movie. It didn't dig into the things that I thought were most interesting. But, if you're a fan of the first movie, it's worth going to see. Michael B. Jordan's a freaking star. He's worth going to see. I just wish his character had more to chew on in this movie.
Yeah. I would have liked to see him have a little bit more in-depth and, in here. But for me, it in some ways, it seemed like... it was his story, but as Rocky saw it.
Yeah. You got
it was like Michael B. Jordan's or Creed's career was. We were actually looking at Rocky's management career and the person he was managing.
Okay. Yeah, there was. You got the sense of that would pop in. Oh yeah, this is still a Rocky movie in a lot of ways.
Right.
But credit to like Sylvester Stallone and Michael B. Jordan their characters have really great chemistry that you just really enjoy them together. And it was great to see Draco back in a really not a cartoonish kind of way, which I would have probably expected initially. But treating the characters seriously is one of the things this movie does.
Now one of the things I was thinking about is that both Rocky or Sylvester Stallone and Michael B. Jordan, on a scale of 1 to 10, so far as acting chops, I would probably give them a 7. Phylicia Rashad, I would have liked to seen them give her more to do and more to say in this movie.
Another story.
Because her acting chops are like 9 and a half. And so they kind of brought her down to their level so that they didn't have to come up to hers. But I would have loved to see them come up to hers. And I think both
they give
of them
her like
can.
one scene to really dig into and shine, one dramatic, focal scene and stuff.
Right.
But the rest of the movie, she's just, she's there in support.
Right, she's there in support.
Yeah.
And I would have liked to seen them move up to her level instead of them move her down to theirs.
So is a must see on the big screen, or it's like, you can wait till it's on video. If you want to see Michael B. Jordan shirtless on the big screen, it's pay your money like all the women are sitting next to him. Or he fine.
She was my buffer. I didn't have to hear that.
Yeah, he is. He's there's a lot of that respect I won't get into. But that's not the only reason I want to see a movie, but it does help anyway. But I think you can see it a big screen. You can wait for it. You'll enjoy this on home video, and probably I'm okay with not seeing that on big screen.
Right. I'm okay with not seeing it on a big screen. I want it to do well.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, absolutely.
But if you want to wait till it gets to Netflix, DVD, whatever, that's fine too.
Yeah.
Like for the women, they had the shirtless Michael B. Jordan. For me, I'm a huge Mustang fan. They had a Mustang in it. But then that kind of became a bad idea because then I was being nitpicky.
They've been picky because you're really into Mustangs, so when.
I'm just like, no, that's not right.
Right.
But like we said, I would give it a 7+.
Okay, I think that's fair.
And if somebody said an 8, I'd be like, sure, okay, that's fine too. But that's where I'm at. Go see it in the theater, or wait for it to come on home.
Or wait for it to come on. Yeah, that's what I'm at too. So you're not gonna waste your time seeing it in a theater, but you can wait. You can wait for a video on this one. Yeah, especially like without like I said, those boxing scenes in the first Creed were something else. Wow, and maybe if I'm just taking it from a too technical standpoint, now boxing scenes in this are great, but they just weren't those other ones. Those from the first movie, they were special. So, all right. So we out. We're gonna happy Thanksgiving, y'all. Happy
Thanksgiving.
We're gonna go eat now.
Okay, now. All right, and we're out.